Today marks the final regular season contest for NKU seniors Natalie Forbes, Christina Eisenmenger, Katie Lattenzer, and Kelsey Weesaw. The four players have won at least 20 games in every year they've worn a Norse uniform, and no game may be bigger than today, as the team plays Lewis University for the Great Lakes Valley Conference Championship. Coming up next, here on Norse Media TV, Channel 18. Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Regents Hall for today's Great Lakes Valley Conference women's volleyball game between the Northern Kentucky University Norse and the Lewis Flyers. And this is one big game we have today here, Ray.
Oh, yes, it is. Number 1 versus number 2. If you're looking for some volleyball, this is definitely the place to come. You have number 22 in the country, Lewis, taking on number 25, NKU.
And playoff implications here today. If NKU should win this game, there is a very good chance they would host the NCAA regional tournament here. Looking at the squad here for NKU, we have Katie Lattenzer, Natalie Forbes, Kelsey Weesaw, and Christina Eisenmenger. Also, Noelle Peterson, Chelsea Clark, Kim Nemchek, and Megan Dooley. We also have Annie Lucas, Maria Scherer, and Sarah Drennan. Well, we're about ready to get things started here today. I'm Bill Farrow, joined by Ray Kallmeyer, and we are getting the preliminary activities out of the way so we can get this matchup underway. Both teams winners last night. That puts NKU and just one game behind the Lewis Flyers. If they win this game tonight, they would be the co-champions of the Great Lakes Valley Conference Eastern Division.
Lewis has already beaten NKU once at Lewis back in September, but now we're in NKU, so it'll be a completely different story.
Lauren Saliga with the serve. And that one's long as Noelle Peterson just puts it beyond the line, and it'll be a 1-0 lead for Lewis. Nemchek unable to play that one successfully, and it'll sail out of bounds for another Lewis point. 2-0 your score. There's Saliga again. That one scans the top of the net. Lucas sends it over. And Lewis with a spike, and this is not the start that Coach Chia wanted here in this very important matchup today.
Lewis is jumping out to an early start.
Saliga again with the serve, but right into the net. NKU breaks the scoreboard. 3-1 your score now. Noelle Peterson lining up for the serve. A freshman out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That ball blocked at the net, but unable to be played by NKU. Lucas got a piece of it, and Weesaw was unable to get it enough underneath the ball to give NKU a chance there. 4-1 your score. And a nice play there by Eisenmenger at the spike from the outside.
Goes off the point.
Yes, indeed. That went off the hands there of number 15, I believe. That was Rachel Rudy. And NKU will have the serve, and taking it for NKU is the senior Katie Lattenzer. And an ace, as that one just inside the headline, as ruled by our very capable linesman down there. Lattenzer will get another shot. 4-3 the score. This could tie the game. Misplayed there by number 7, Lauren Saliga. And NKU has stormed right back to tie it up at 4 each.
You can just see by each reaction of the team by different, after every point, you can see their reactions, how intense this game is.
You are right about that. There's Saliga shooting it over. Set up there for Eisenmenger, but wasn't able to get a good contact with the ball. That one Spike sent down. That was number 2, I believe. That was Stephanie Saget, who got the spike and the point to put Lewis back on top. Weesaw with a spike from the outside, finds the floor, and we're tied at 5. Megan Dooley, the junior out of Hebron, Kentucky, will take the serve for NKU. She went to St. Henry High School. Jump serve, dug out by Lewis. From the outside, tips it, that'll go into the net, still playable. NKU will have to send it over though, free ball for Lewis. There's a spike, attempted to be dug out, but it'll be Sarah DeBurr who gets the point for Lewis.
That was just out of the reach of Megan Dooley.
Stephanie Saget taking the serve. She's out of Darien, Illinois, went to Hinsdale South High School. Now playing for the Flyers.
Cool finesse shot.
And Christina Eisenmenger will get credited with the kill on that, and it is now 6-6. So after an initial surge by Lewis, NKU has kept pace with them, and we are tied up at 6. Here's Clark with the serve. Played by Lewis. Spike from the outside, blocked at the net, but
nice
sent back over.
Forbes.
Forbes able to get under it. Here's a spike from the outside by number 7, Lauren Saliga. And Lewis takes the lead once more. And this is sort of what we expected here, Ray. Back and forth play.
There's no time to breathe.
Neither team wanting to let the other get any sort of advantage, and we are tied just 1 point now separating the two teams. Spike blocked at the net. And that one just inside by Nemchek. She spiked it down the line, and it is a tie game once again. 7-7 your score here in set number 1.
You know, I can tell this is going to be like this all day. Even if you're not a fan of volleyball, this is still going to keep your interest.
Nemchek with the serve. There's Saliga, and she'll find the floor with a little tap over the net and over the arms of the NKU defense. Lewis again with the lead. Lining up for the serve, number 3, Justina Begeman from Odessa, Missouri. And the spike by Noelle Peterson, unable to be played successfully by Lewis, and it is now a tie game at 8. Natalie Forbes lining up for the serve. Forbes, one of the 4 seniors who was honored last night. That ball blocked by Peterson, but Lucas, I don't think, saw it. And it finds the hardwood on this side of the net, and it'll be a point for Lewis. 9-8 your score now. There's Saliga with the serve. Weesaw with a spike. It's dug out by Lewis. That one attempted to be tipped over the net. Lucas plays it. Now Weesaw with a spike, blocked at the net. They're setting up again. Oh, Forbes with a little trickery there, trying to get just over the net. Ball still played by NKU. Excellent play. Here's Lewis with a spike, but that's going to go long. But I believe it was tipped by NKU, and Lewis will get the point. 10-8 the score.
Since the score was 3-0, this is the largest lead we've seen.
And that one out of bounds. It has not been more than a 1-point lead until just now, as you said. But now it's right back to 1 point as it's 10-9 in favor of the Flyers. The only thing I can compare this to is like a heavyweight title fight where both participants just keep slugging it out at each other, neither wanting to give any ground. And NKU has tied it up here 10 apiece. And Peterson will take the serve. Dug out by Lewis. And that spike by Kim Richards, unable to be played by NKU, and it is 11-10. And as Richard gets the point, she'll now take the serve. Dug out by NKU. And Weesaw with the spike and the point. We're tied once again at 11. And she will take a seat, and Latenzer will come in to take the serve for NKU. Oh, excellent dig
there. Good save by Clark.
Ball still in play, but that's 4 touches for NKU, and that is a point for Lewis. And once again, they take that 1-point lead. 12-11 your score here in set number 1. Lewis already guaranteed a share of the GLVC Eastern Division title. NKU hoping to get a win to share that title with them. And we're tied at 12.
We'll definitely have to earn that share, as this is just back and forth.
Dooley will take the serve here. Perhaps NKU can get their first lead of the match. And that one is out of bounds, and NKU on top for the first time, 13-12. And you hear the Norse fans showing their approval. Dooley once again with the serve. This is the jump serve. And that one again out of bounds, and NKU now with a 2-point lead. There you see Stephanie Saget, outside hitter for Lewis. That one long, and NKU will give possession back to Lewis, but still maintaining a 1-point lead. 14-13 the score here in set number 1. Stephanie Saget now with the serve for Lewis. And that one off the hands of the Lewis defense, and it will go out of bounds. NKU back to a 2-point lead. Now Chelsea Clark getting ready for the serve. You see her in the gray jersey. She is the libero for NKU. That's a defensive specialist. You see the Lewis libero wearing the red, as you see her digging that one out. And that one off the hands of NKU and out of bounds. NKU still on top though, 15-14. And Lauren Hatter taking the serve for Lewis. So that one gets over the net and unable to be played by NKU. Latenzer dug it out, but Forbes unable to play it, and it is now a tie game once again.
If you look at Forbes, you can definitely tell why she's all taped up. She's always going for the ball.
There's Nemchek with the big spike, and it is NKU on top once again, 16-15. She'll take the serve for NKU. As that spike played by Clark, but out of bounds, and it will be a tie game once again, 16-16.
It's something that will be repeated a lot today.
And just to remind our fans that the first 4 sets are all played to 25. The last set, if it goes to that, goes to 15. NKU thought that one may go out of bounds, but just made it inside the line there, and an easy point for Lewis as they retake the lead, 17-16. Christina Begeman with the serve. She sends that sinking line drive serve. Danny Lucas able to get the spike and the point, and we are tied at 17.
We'll see a lot of different looks from the front players of NKU.
There's a tip played by Clark, and now sent over by Nemchek, but out of bounds.
So saying you'll see a lot of different looks. Sometimes they'll just try to power it over, but other times they'll finesse it over kind of as a fake out.
There's Saliga with the serve. Played by Nemchek. There's Weesaw with the spike. Played by Lewis. They do give NKU, I don't want to say a free ball, but kind of blocked at the net. Oh, Forbes just out of her reach. And now Lewis with a 2-point lead, 19-17. Timeout, NKU. And while we're taking this break, I want to remind everyone that tonight is the big basketball game between the Northern Kentucky University Norse and the Louisville Cardinals. That at the brand new Bank of Kentucky Center. Women's game at 5 o'clock, men's game at 8. And how about that NKU women's team last week knocking off Cincinnati over there at Fifth Third Arena?
It's a big one for NKU.
Even though it's just exhibition, we'll take it.
That's for sure.
There you see Coach Carlos Chia. A little bit of a look of concern on his face as NKU down 2 here in set number 1. There you hear the whistle, and we're about ready to get things underway once again. Saligo will take the serve for Lewis.
Nice little finesse move.
Forwards plays it. That one just barely makes it over the net. And a spike by Weesaw. And NKU now within 1, 19-18 the score. Weesaw, the senior out of Lansing, Michigan.
She's a transfer. So this is actually her first year with NKU.
Spike blocked at the net. And Peterson unable to play that spike, and Lewis now within 5 points of taking set number 1. Here's Kim Richards with the serve. Dug out by Clark. Weesaw with the spike. Played by Lewis, the free ball back to NKU. They're setting it up here for Eisenmenger, who puts it down on the floor. 20-19 your score. Lewis still on top. Neither team has really made a big run, save for Lewis's quick 3-0 jump they took at the beginning of this contest. And we have a conference here between the official and the linesman. I think there was some dispute about whether that ball should have been an NKU point or not, and they're saying that, yes, it should have been. So NKU will keep possession and the point. That one sent over the net and back into Lewis territory. They'll free ball it back to NKU. Weesaw plays it for Eisenmenger. Spike blocked at the net. They'll send it back over to NKU's side. Passes it over to Latenzer, but
it's out of the reach of the corner.
Lewis puts it back over into the empty spot here on the near side. And Lewis now again with a 2-point lead. Rachel Rudy to take the serve for Lewis. As a stray ball wanders onto the court. To get that cleared up. Rudy makes the serve, but misplayed by Lattenzer, and it is a 3-point lead for the Lewis Flyers. 22-19 the score. You hear the Norse fans trying to rally the team. And that one sails just over the line and out of bounds. And NKU will call a timeout. Coach Chia not at all happy with what he's seeing here, as Lewis now 2 points away from taking the first set.
This is definitely the largest lead that we've seen all day. Before it was 3-0.
That is correct. It has been neck and neck the whole way in this first set. Fans, if you are like me and try to keep up with all the Norse sports, the best way to do that is with the Norse Sports Show, which is hosted by Brady Labor. You'll see that right here on Norse Media 18, as well as on YouTube. If you search for Norse Sports, you should see the Channel 18 Sports Show come up there, and I watch that online whenever I get a chance. Well, Lewis will put the ball here in play. Just 2 points away from taking this first set. NKU going to try their best to prevent that. That one blocked at the net, but played by NKU. There's a spike block, but I think it hit the antenna, and it'll be a point for NKU. You see those red and white colored poles that stick up out of the net. And those, if the ball touches that, it is considered out of bounds. I believe that's what's happened there, and it is a point for NKU. 23-20 the score. A little tap finds the empty spot in the NKU defense, and it's now set point for the Flyers. And taking the serve will be Stephanie Saget. That ball played out of bounds, and it will be an easy point for NKU. Still set point, though, for Lewis.
It's got to be actually a tough one to just kind of let go by.
Yeah, you're always caught between that moment of indecision of whether or not to play it or take the risk that it's going to go out of bounds. There's Clark with the serve. Spike by Lewis, blocked at the net. Pass set up for Peterson, blocked. That one just barely makes it over the net. They're saying she touched it twice, and NKU gets the point. It's now 24-22. And Lewis will take a timeout. So momentum perhaps shifting NKU's way as you hear the crowd shouting their approval.
NKU making a much-needed little spurt there.
Yeah, momentum, no team has had any real momentum here, but Lewis made a little surge there here in the waning minutes of this first set. NKU, though, has weathered the storm so far, but still set point for Lewis. So there you see some of the Norse faithful on hand to root on these ladies here in their last game in Regents Hall. Last regular season game. There's still a chance we could host the NCAA regionals. That's by blocked at the net. It's 24-23. NKU now within 1 point of tying this up. Now you must win each set by 2. So this a big point here for Northern. Chelsea Clark to take the serve out of Yorktown, Indiana. The jump serve. Played by Lewis. There's a spike, and that's it, and that's the first set. Lewis takes it 25-23. Well, while we have this break, I want to remind everyone to watch the NKU Sports Show each morning at 7 a.m. on Norse Media TV here on Insight Cable, Channel 18. Each week, students from Northern Kentucky University's Electronic Media and Broadcasting program brings you latest highlights, stories, and interviews from Norse athletics. That's the NKU Sports Show here on Norse Media TV, Channel 18. Past episodes of the NKU Sports Show can be viewed on YouTube. We're going to take a brief break here, but we'll be back with set number 2. You're watching Norse Volleyball here on Norse Media 18. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Farrow, and now I'd like to introduce to you a young man who is joining us for the first time here on Norse Media 18, David Connor.
Thank you, Bill. It's David Connor, and very interesting first set, absolutely. I thought the Norse had a chance to catch up there towards the end, but it seems it just didn't have enough, as the Flyers absolutely gave them a contest.
Well, we're getting ready here for set number 2. Lewis on top, 1-0. And this almost a replay of what happened at Lewis when NKU played them there. Every set was close, but Lewis still was able to take the sweep, 3-0 over NKU.
It's always a battle when these two teams meet, no question about it, Bill.
And as we mentioned before, this is a very big game here for NKU. If they win today, they will get a share of the Great Lakes Valley Conference Eastern Division title, and also a win would most probably put them at number 1 in the region, and then NKU would host the NCAA regional tournament right here at Regents Hall.
And the Norse had a 14-2 GLVC record coming into today's game. Absolutely an opportunity here for the Norse to prove their dominance in the GLVC.
And they just handed me the stat sheet for that first set. There were 11 tie scores in that set and 2 lead changes. And NKU starts things off here with the serve. There's Forbes playing it for Peterson. But that one dug out, but it goes. One says in, the other says out. The officials will conference here.
Well,
that was very close.
Little dispute here, Bill.
I couldn't tell from where I'm sitting, and it doesn't look like the referee up on the. Yeah, and it'll go to NKU. This is ruled out of bounds. So NKU takes the 1-0 lead early on here in the second set. That ball skims the top of the net. There's a spike dug out by Forbes. Sent over for Lewis. Oh, joust at the net. Pushed over to NKU side. They're able to play it though. That ball blocked and still in play. That one long as Peterson sends it just a little bit. Oh, they said it's tipped, and NKU gets the point, 2-0. Very long rally there for that point.
Absolutely, a very nice set there by Forbes, too.
That ball blocked at the net, and NKU on top 3-0, a reversal of what we saw in set number 1. As Lewis jumped out to the 3-0 lead in that set, NKU repaying them here in set number 2. Ball dug out by Hatter. There's Saget with the spike, the blocks at the net. And Weesaw with a huge spike down the line, and NKU up 4-0 here in the second set.
That had some power on it.
There's Saget as she tips the ball over the net and onto the floor. Lewis gets their first point of the set. 4-1 your score. Kim Richards lining up for the serve for Lewis. Richards, a junior out of Evergreen Park, Illinois. That ball dug out but played to the net. Lucas sends it over for NKU. And Saget with the spike and the point.
Boy, Saget is all over the ball today.
Yes, she is. The athleticism of these women on the court, I'm just in constant amazement at some of the things we see them capable of doing with the volleyball. There's Weesaw with the spike dug out by Lewis. Will be sent over for a free ball for Northern. There's another spike, the block dug out, but it goes out of bounds. Peterson credited with the score, and it is 5-2 NKU.
Strong volley there by both teams. NKU still up, as we see.
That one clips the top of the net. Sent out of bounds by Lewis. And NKU back to a 4-point lead, 6-2 the score.
The important thing for the Norse is they need to keep that energy level up and make sure not to fall behind like they did in the previous set.
That's a good point. We've seen it throughout this season where they, against certain opponents, they take a set off, it seems, and will let their adversary get back into the match when NKU really should not have given them any opportunity to do that.
Absolutely.
Hatter will attempt to play that over, but it'll go into the net, and NKU now with a 4-point lead once again.
As just mentioned, the Norse keeping that energy level, not letting the Flyers get in there.
Well, you have to credit both Coach Chia and Coach Holmes down there who have to have drilled into the players the importance of this game.
No question about that.
Not that these ladies need much reminding of a game of this high profile and this importance. I'm sure they know very well how much this means to get the win here tonight. Oh, some miscommunication, but they're still able to get the ball over. And there's a spike blocked at the net, but it'll go out of bounds. As Clark played it, but it unable to keep it in play.
A nice effort there by Clark. She just didn't get over in time. Probably not anticipating that ball movement.
Serving for Lewis is Saget. Dug out by Lattinger.
There's Eisenmenger with the spike and a point for NKU. Eisenmenger, the senior out of Erlanger, Kentucky, went to Notre Dame Academy. Right across the street from my alma mater there, Covington Catholic. That one dug out by Hatter. There's Saliga with the spike, dug out by NKU. Eisenmenger's spike was blocked at the net. Lewis calling for a four touches, but referee's not seeing it that way. And that ball sent out of bounds, and NKU on top now, 10-4. 6-point lead. That is the largest lead for either team so far in this match. There's Dooley with the serve. So that one will go into the net, and it is 10-5 in favor of NKU right now. Hatter, the libero for Lewis, put it in play with the jump serve. Just barely made it inside the line.
They'll take that one.
That's the kind of thing that'll drive you nuts if you're the coach. And as you see, Coach Gia will call a timeout. Not too happy with what he just saw there.
No, he wasn't happy at all. No defense really there by the Norse. They really needed to protect that side of the court.
Looking at the stats from the previous game, the leading scorer for NKU was Kim Nemchek with 5 points. Lewis, Justina Begeman had 5 as well. And you see the nice spreading of the scoring. No one really dominating there on the scoring side. We saw in Eisenmenger both had 3. Latenzer had 2. And Peterson and Lucas each chipped in with a point apiece.
Nobody playing very selfish on Northern Kentucky, and that's a good sign when you have the teamwork.
And Hatter will take the serve for NKU. Or for Lewis, I'm sorry. Lewis wearing the white with the red trim, NKU in the black with the white trim. There's Eisenmenger from the outside, but blocked at the net. And on the ground, and out of bounds, and it'll be NKU with the point. 11-6 the score. Chelsea Clark will put the ball in play. And that one goes into the net. Lewis closes the gap now, 11-7. And if you want to talk about effort, all you got to do is look at the knee pads on the NKU side. Every one of them scuffed up.
Yeah, they've been all over the floor today. Generally, the defense has been playing pretty well.
And no complaints on that end.
Absolutely. Good communication. That's always vital.
Nemchek credited with the point, and that puts them on top, 12-7. Kim Nemchek now with the serve. The middle hitter, sophomore out of Geneva, Illinois. Oh, that ball, you see that left hook? She just punched the ball right down on the floor.
Rudy, unbelievable there.
I wouldn't want to be standing in front of that fan. There's Lucas with a spike that bounces off the hands of the Lewis defense and out of bounds. 13-8 your score. NKU on top here in set number 2. Referee signal for the serve. There's Saget with the spike. Deflected out of bounds. That's a point for Lewis. 13-9 your score.
The Norse would really like to take this set to tie it up in one apiece.
There's Richards with the serve. Set up for for Lucas, I'm sorry. There's Weesaw with the touch. Lucas sends it up. Played back over to the net. And a tap. Oh, dug out by NKU. Nemchek with the spike. I'm sorry, that was Peterson with the spike, but blocked at the net. There's Peterson again. Blocked at the net and out of bounds. NKU increasing their lead. Now it is 14-9. Peterson with the serve. Played by Saget. Back over for NKU. Eisenmenger with the big spike. And Lucas able to reach over the net and put the ball down on the floor for NKU. 15-9 your score.
This second set, we've said the name Lucas multiple times. She is playing phenomenal.
That one finds the back of the court as Lewis breaks the NKU momentum briefly. 15-10 the score. Now you see NKU with their big lineup up front with Lucas, Weesaw, and Eisenmenger. Throw Forbes in there, and that is a
Baggerman there with point.
And Rudy with the serve that goes out, and it'll be NKU adding to their lead. 16-11 now your score. Now you take a look at Coach Chia. That one heading over towards us, but kept in play by Lewis. But Hatter sends it into the net. And NKU
tried to save that one there, but no luck.
That's the second time she's sent one into the net.
Looks like somebody's got to tie their shoe.
Yeah, that's Hatter. From the outside, that was Sarah DeBurr with the spike and the kill. 17-12 the score. There's Weesaw from the outside, blocked at the net. Ball kept in play. They'll give a free ball over to Lewis. And the spike by Baggerman.
What power there by Justina Baggerman.
I don't know what you call that there. A comet maybe that came flying down there on the NKU side?
Absolutely. That was definitely hard to defend, and the Norse unable to do so.
We had a pretty good vantage point there. You could see a very clear seam in the NKU defense, and she just shot it straight down there. That one, though, will go out of bounds off the Lewis defense, and it's now 18-13 NKU on top. Taking the serve for Northern is Megan Dooley, the junior out of Hebron. Went to St. Henry High School. Played by Hatter. That ball by Baggerman just barely over the reach of NKU's.
Just able to tap that one over the net and over the defender.
Eisenmenger and who was that? Forbes were right there, but just barely out of their reach.
She's finding those holes in the defense.
That serve skims the top of the net. Here's Eisenmenger with the kill, and it's now 20-14 NKU on top. I'm sorry, 19-14.
Good power on both sides of the ball, as evidenced with that last play.
Here's Chelsea Clark. Jump serve, played by Hatter. There's Baggerman with the spike and the score, and she's very excited about that, as breaking the NKU momentum briefly, perhaps. And NKU will take a timeout.
Another comment there by Baggerman. Whoa, what power.
There's something to be said for seeing volleyball live here at Regents Hall. I mean, especially as close as we are able to be. You see just the sheer power that's exhibited by these ladies.
Absolutely. The vantage point we have here provides for an exceptional viewpoint. You can see the power on both sides. Both teams really do have that leverage, which is a good thing. The defense struggling a little bit here for NKU, but besides that, they're hanging tight here in the second set, Bill. And
with as much riding on this game as we have both the divisional championship and the potential of hosting the NCAA regional tournament, you can understand why the intensity is so high here in this second set. Here's Bagaman with the serve. Jump serve out of bounds. And it's now 20-15. Entering the game for NKU, Kim Nemchik. As Katie Latenzer will take the seat. That ball dug out by Nemchik. We have a net violation on NKU.
Yeah, some net contact there by the Norse. And you don't like to see that if you're head coach Chia.
The unforced errors in a game like this, simply unacceptable. Nemchik will play it. Pass over to Peterson, who spikes it, blocked at the net. And out of bounds. Peterson is credited with the kill. Natalie Forbes now lining up for the serve. Forbes, one of the 4 seniors who were honored last night. You can still see some of the decorations that are left over from the festivities last night. Weesaw taps it over, and it connects with the hardwood, and it is now 22-16. NKU on top, 3 points away from taking the second set here tonight.
That's right, 3 vital points, and Norse will capture this second set.
But Richards does her job to make sure that doesn't happen, as it is now 22-17, NKU on top.
Absolutely nice ball presence, awareness rather, by Richards.
That ball tipped over by Weesaw, played by Lewis. As Saget sends it over, but the spike off the fingers of a Lewis defender, and Weesaw credited with the point. 23-17 the score now. There's Peterson with the serve. That ball hits the net, but still able to make it over. And down to the floor, so Lewis closes in on NKU as it's now 23-18. Eisenmenger with a spike, blocked at the net. That ball sent over. There's a spike from the outside that finds the floor as Justina Begaman gets the point.
And Rudy set that one up for her. And again, these sets are perfect.
You have to be amazed at Lewis's passing that they've exhibited here in this match.
Absolutely.
Kelsey Weesaw with a fireball from the outside.
Lewis with some good ball interaction, able to keep those powerful serves by the Norse alive and able to return it.
We're at set point here for NKU as you hear the fans. And that'll do it. NKU takes set number 2, 25-19. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this on Norse Media 18. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to let everyone know that today's volleyball game is being brought to you by the efforts of students from Northern Kentucky University's Electronic Media and Broadcasting program. While studying at NKU, students can acquire actual hands-on experience during the production of live televised events. To learn more about the Electronic Media and Broadcasting program and all of the great majors at NKU, visit the school's website at www.nku.edu. And one of those fine students we have working here today is Ray Kallmeyer. Ray, welcome back.
Thank you. It's glad to be back.
And we also want to point out that in today's economy, that the job market is bound to be even more competitive. If you would like to increase your education, NKU has a variety of master's programs that could give you the edge when in the job market. There you see Coach Chia has to be feeling a little bit better after NKU took the second set and pretty much maintained control throughout the duration of that set. You see, NKU had as they hand me the stat sheet here, NKU had the lead throughout the entire set, as opposed to in the first set where there were 11 tied scores and 2 lead changes.
It was just all back and forth in the first.
Well, we're tied here at 1 set apiece in this best-of-5 matchup. NKU looking to get a share of that divisional title with a win today. Lewis trying to keep that title all to themselves, as they're already guaranteed a share of it with the win last night.
See if NKU come out and keep pace like they did in the second set.
Kim Richards will start things off here for the Flyers. There's the serve, dug out by Nemchek. Here's Weesaw with the spike, and NKU jumps out on top, 1-0. Now Peterson lining up for the serve. The freshman out of Milwaukee sends it long and out of bounds, and we are tied 1 apiece. Here's Rachel Rudy, one of the most powerful players I've ever seen. And that ball unable to be played by NKU as it goes out of bounds. And Rudy will get the ace. She'll line up again for the serve. Nothing fancy about her serve. She just puts it over the net. And that one just on the line there, and it will be just over the line. I'm sorry. That was very close, but the line's been saying it was out of bounds. So NKU will get the point. We're tied once again at 2. From the outside, the ball hit, played into NKU territory. There's Eisenmenger. Blocked at the net. And it will be a point for Lewis. 3-2 your score. Here's Saget with the serve.
Eisenmenger, the leader in kills for NKU. She's actually 3rd all-time on kills for NKU.
Here's Dooley with the serve for Northern. See that jump serve she does so well. To get that extra oomph on the ball. That ball blocked at the net by Northern. There's Eisenmenger with the serve. I think we had a net violation there by Lewis. That's an automatic point for NKU. Here's Dooley with the serve. Didn't look like it was going to go long, but it's played by Lewis. And that's 4 touches. A little confusion there on the Lewis side. And NKU now up to 5-3. Boy, you just love that jump serve that she does there.
Works very well for her.
Well, Lewis gets the point, closes the gap to 1 as it's now 5-4. NKU still on top. And the Lewis libero, Lauren Hatter, will take the serve for Lewis. That ball sent out of bounds, and Lewis ties it up at 5 each. Lauren Hatter with the serve once again. She does a jump serve as well. That one finds the floor, and that'll be an ace for Lewis. And they take the lead. Coach Chia not at all happy about that, and he calls a timeout. And you see Coach Chia pulling aside Latzer and Dooley, while Liz Holmes will talk to the rest of the team. And you can't underestimate the value of having an assistant coach like Liz Holmes. Probably, if not the best, one of the best players NKU has ever had.
She actually finished earlier this year in the top 30 list for women of the NCAA.
Yes, she did. Coach Chia came over to my office prior to that to put together a little video to help, with the selection committee. And to see the pride in his face as I played the video for him, I mean, it was really something to see. As he's so proud of these ladies that he's coached over the years. And well, he should be.
It's a really good program they've put together here.
And a net violation called on NKU. So Lewis now, once down 2, now has turned the tables. Gone on a 4-0 run here to give themselves a 2-point lead, 7-5. As Clark with the point. Or, I'm sorry, Nemchek with the point. Clark will take the serve. 7-6 the score here in the third set. Lewis took the first one. NKU took set number 2. And we haven't quite seen the intensity that we saw in that second set out of NKU, and they find themselves now down 2 to the Lewis Flyers.
Looks more like the first set, more back and forth.
And Nemchek will be given the kill there, as it is now 8-7. NKU back within 1. Well, Forbes with the overhead shot there as it goes out of bounds off the Lewis player, and we're tied at 8.
This is really top-tier volleyball.
That ball skims the top of the net. Blocked at the net by NKU. Forbes plays it. There's Peterson. Back to Forbes. Peterson once more. Played back to NKU side. Clark. There's Lewis sending it over. Blocked by Lucas. Peterson with the spike. Blocked at the net. There's Rudy over for Rudy again. And that finds the floor, and it is a point for Lewis. Saliga lining up for the serve for Lewis as they reclaim the lead, 9-8. And Forbes with a tip. Couldn't find the floor that time. There's Forbes again, that time for Lucas. He'll spike it down and give NKU the tie. 9-9 now the score as we're deadlocked here in the third set. Rudy passes it over, but misplayed by Stephanie Saget. And NKU takes the lead, 10-9. Coach Chia not happy at what he saw there. They sort of left that near side undefended.
Kind of got lucky there.
Yes, indeed. That one hits the antenna. And they're going to give the point to NKU. There was a little question about who touched it last before it hit the antenna. And now the officials are going to discuss this to make sure that they made the right call here. And that happened right in front of us. And the referees discuss it, and it turns out that they had it right the first time. And NKU gets the point. They're now up to 11-9. They whistle for the serve. Forbes sends it over. There's Rudy with the set. Dug out by Clark. Weesaw with the spike. And Rudy just tips it over the net and down on the NKU side. It's now 11-10. NKU still on top, though, here in the third set.
These ladies are definitely leaving it all out on the floor tonight.
Kim Richards with the serve for Lewis. Weesaw with the spike, blocked at the net. Forbes will attempt to send it over. Unable to do so, but Nemchek was there to make the save. There's Nemchek again. Saget with the spike, blocked at the net. And NKU gets the point, 12-10 the score.
That's a big advantage for NKU because you got 6'2" and 6'3", Annie Lucas and Kelsey Weesaw right at the net.
That's a very intimidating presence to be looking at if you're wearing a white jersey here tonight. Those twin towers NKU have been really a key to their success all season long. Here's Weesaw with the spike. Off of Rudy and out of bounds. NKU takes the 2-point lead once more as it is now 13-11. You take a look at Sarah DeBurr, the junior out of Urbandale, Iowa. They made an ill-fated attempt to block that right-handed spike by Kelsey Weesaw. Eisenmenger digs it out, but it hits the post there that holds the net up, and that's out of bounds. So Lucas gets the point. And you see Laura Lee Smith, the coach of the Lewis Flyers, sitting on at least a share of the GLVC Eastern Division title. Here's Eisenmenger from the outside, and with the point. 14-12 the score. And this game has, for the most part, turned around since Coach Chia called that timeout.
NKU pretty much since then has been able to keep somewhat control of the game. They went down maybe 2 once, but that was it.
Here's Hatter to serve it up for Lewis. Flyers find themselves down 1 here in the third set, and now they're down 2 as that ball hits the net. So that'll be a point for NKU. Chelsea Clark will take the serve for NKU. Powerful spike by Lauren Saliga finds the floor for Lewis. And they are now within a point once again, 15-14.
I think I'd actually need catches here for that one.
And just the power they get out of that rotation on their arm.
It's not something I'd want to step in front of.
Well, that serve goes out of bounds, and NKU gets another point, and it's now 16-14. Nemchek with the serve, dug out by Hatter. There's Rudy, sets it up for Richards, who puts it down. And we're now 16-15. Noelle Peterson gets the point, and checking back into the game is Kelsey Weesaw. Coming in to relieve Megan Dooley. Here's Forbes with the serve. One dug out. Rudy with the spike, but blocked at the net. And NKU now up 3, 18-15.
Yet again, that's 6'2" Annie Lucas right there to meet him at the net.
We got a timeout here on the Lewis side as the fans here voicing their approval of what they're seeing here in the third set.
If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the largest lead for NKU in this set.
I believe you're right. Now Coach Chia talking things over with Annie Lucas. You got to hand it to the defense on NKU side. They have been in the face of just about every setter, every spike that has come down on their side. Not successful, of course, every time, but just being there can provide. I don't know what that was.
That was a quick jolt of music there.
Our public address announcer having some problem there with his equipment, perhaps. Certainly got me fired up. I don't know about anybody else here in the game.
Hopefully he does the same for the women's team. As you see the student section running.
And there's Zeb Davenport with the NKU flag. Who's the Dean of Students, I believe.
I don't know where else you'll find a Dean of Students that'll be out there carrying their own flag running around the
We saw with a spike, and NKU now up 4, 19-15 the score. Boy, that was an unbelievably powerful spike. No chance for Lewis on that one.
I think it put a dent in the floor.
Big there by Forbes. There's Peterson, but it'll go out of bounds. But they're saying it was tipped by Lewis, and NKU now with a 5-point lead. 20-15 the score. NKU has everything going their way right now here in this third set. There's Forbes, over for Weesaw. On the ground, and it is now 21-15, and the fans really excited here in this final regular season game in Regents Hall.
They're really keeping that momentum on their side.
Well, you can't underestimate the value of the 7th player in the stands. Here's Rudy, over for Saget. Dug out by NKU.
Good
Forbes.
save by Forbes.
There's Peterson. Dug out, but Lucas gets a piece of it and sends it back over to the Lewis side. They were unprepared, and it is 22-15.
Definitely the biggest lead all day.
There you see Lucas, one of the two twin towers, her and Weesaw. Oh, nice play there by Nemchek as she digs it out. That ball hit the antenna, and it will be a point for Lewis, and their first point in a while, as it is now 22-16. Norse on top by 6.
That was a much-needed point for Lewis to stop that NKU run.
Danielle Mount to make her first serve of the game. Set up for Weesaw, but blocked at the net. And Lewis gets their second consecutive point. It's now 22-17. There's Mount once more with the serve. Lucas with the spike, and it's now 23-17. NKU on top. 2 points away from taking this third set and taking a 2-1 lead here in this match. Here's Forbes, over for Weesaw. Attempted to be dug out by Hatter, but a little too low, and NKU now with set point and can take a 2-1 lead. There's Peterson. Rudy. Oh, and the spike by DeBurr finds the floor on NKU's side. Still set point, though, for NKU. They just need one more point to take this third set. Dug out by Clark. Forbes to Weesaw. Dug out by Lewis, but it goes out of bounds, and NKU takes the third set, 25-18. We're now up 2-1 here on the #1 Lewis Flyers. We'll be back for set number 4 right after these messages. You're watching Norse Volleyball on Norse Media 18. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You can watch the NKU Sports Show each morning at 7 a.m. on Norse Media TV here on Inside Cable, Channel 18. Each week, students from Northern Kentucky University's Electronic Media and Broadcasting program brings you the latest highlights, stories, and interviews from Norse athletics. That's the NKU Sports Show here on Norse Media TV, Channel 18. Past episodes of the NKU Sports Show can be viewed on YouTube.
Well, Bill, I must admit I'm never up at 7 in the morning, but I am an avid fan of the program. And I encourage anyone out there to tune in. It's worth getting up for.
I usually just look it up on YouTube myself.
Oh, well, hey, there you go. You can do that too.
I don't have cable, so I can't watch it anyway.
Well, there you go.
Well, NKU on top here, 2-1 in this highly important matchup. Lewis already with a share of the GLVC title, and NKU looking to get their piece of the pie with a win today.
A lot of people may be surprised to see Northern Kentucky up by a set, but that's correct. 2-1 right now.
Well, we're about ready to get things underway here for set number 4. I'm Bill Farrow, joined once again by David Connor.
Yes, sir. And Bill, what do you think of what we've seen so far from the Norse?
Well, they've been able to match the intensity level of the Lewis Flyers. I think you mentioned that in the second set about making that point about the intensity. And I couldn't agree more that that's probably the most important thing they can do today is not let Lewis intimidate them. And that is pretty much what we've seen here so far for the Norse. And in this fourth set for NKU, we'll have Weesaw, Lucas, Peterson, Nemchek, Clark, and Forbes starting things off. And Natalie Forbes will put the ball in play to get things started here for the fourth set. There's Saget blocked at the net, and NKU gets the point.
The big hands of Annie Lucas.
Forbes with the serve once again. Dug out by Hatter. Rudy over to Saget. Blocked at the net, but kept in play by Forbes unbelievably as she dives into the stands. But that spike by Saget will find the floor and puts NKU in a tied position, 1-1. Here's Rudy with the serve. Forbes sets it for Lucas, who puts it down.
Boy, how about Lucas already in this fourth set?
Yeah, that one, she didn't quite get all of it, but she put enough spin on the ball that Lewis was unable to handle it properly, and it results in an NKU lead. There's Rudy with a two-handed punch right over the net.
That was definitely a punch.
And some little confusion there on the rotation for Lewis.
Stephanie Saget had a conversation there with one of the officials.
Now they have to keep that rotation in place. As you see, every time they line up for the serve, they have to maintain a certain rotation on the floor. But once the ball's put in play, you'll see the players move around into their more comfortable positions. As that ball goes out of bounds, and Lewis takes the lead, 3-2 the score. Saget lining up to put it in play. Nemchek over to Forbes, back to Nemchek, who sends it out of bounds. 4-2 now the score, Lewis on top. And NKU, you have to think, really wants to take this match here in the fourth set. You don't want it to go to that fifth set where you only played a 15 and pretty much anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Eisenmenger blocked at the net, and Lewis now with a 3-point lead, up 5-2.
Powerful block, and it's right back onto the NKU side of the court. That's Lewis with their 5th point.
Well, you can see the Lewis defense definitely keeping an eye on Eisenmenger. Whenever the ball comes her way, they are right there to attempt the block. And there's Bagaman with the spike.
A good punch, a good set for her by Rudy.
And NKU will take a timeout here before things get out of hand. 6-2 your score. Lewis on top here in the fourth set.
Coach Chia wanting to settle things down with his team and have a little conference here. Again, settling things down. We don't want this match to get too out of the hands for NKU.
And there you see Coach Laura Lee Smith for the Lewis Flyers. Win today would give Lewis that most probably that #1 seed in the NCAA regional tournament. But they've definitely they've already clinched the #1 seed in the GLVC tournament, which is coming up here.
Well, there's no question these two teams can play with each other, as evidenced so far this afternoon.
All 3 sets have been very close. Clark there with the dig. There's Eisenmenger, blocked at the net once again. That one sent back over to the Lewis side. There's Rudy. Over to Saliga. Sends it over. There's Weesaw. Rudy. Eisenmenger unable to get it over the net, but still in play. Clark to Weesaw. Dug out by Forbes. Here's Eisenmenger. Dug out by Saget. Forbes over to Weesaw. Tips it over. Hatter gets under it. There's Saget once more. Forbes to Weesaw. Over to Eisenmenger. And out of bounds. And NKU gets the point.
It looks like it was off Begeman there. Long volley. But Lewis University coming up short.
Eisenmenger had to wait a long time to get that point. She spiked it, I think, 4 times before finally getting the point for NKU. And an ace for the Norse, as they are now within 2, 6-4 your score.
That one right off of Saget. She couldn't do anything with the powerful serve, and NKU benefits.
Hatter digs it out. Gets it over to Saliga. There's Forbes to Weesaw. Blocked at the net, though, and Lewis gets the point.
Sarah DeBurr on that one.
I must say, David, that this Lewis team, and that ball from outside the antenna, so that will not count. You have to give it to this Lewis team, just the athleticism exhibited by their starters here today. I mean, they are all over the court.
Absolutely. You know, I'm particularly impressed with Rudy. You know, the sets have been perfect, really allowing the opportunity for powerful ball play.
Little punch there by Weesaw, sends it over. That one blocked at the net. There's Latzer. That ball long as it goes out of bounds. And
Forbes launching that one.
That was a good idea, but it just a little too hard, and it went over the line, and gives the Flyers now a 5-point lead here in the 4th set. Weesaw with the spike on the ground, and it will be a point for NKU.
What power.
And Weesaw will take a seat. And Dooley comes in to give her some relief.
It's a shame Weesaw's a senior because she's provided a lot of offensive opportunities for the Norse, and particularly here in the set we're in right now.
And there you see Dooley with an unforced error. She sends the serve into the net. Lewis now on top, 10-5. There's Begeman with the serve. Forbes, Eisenmenger with the point.
She puts the ball right in there, and very, very nice effort.
Well, you saw that time they gave Lewis sort of a different look as they feigned a player in front of Eisenmenger. And so she was able to surprise him there, just popping out of nowhere and putting the spike right between the hands of the Lewis defense.
Yeah, Lewis wasn't expecting that.
Hatter digs it out, over to Rudy. That one dug out there by Dooley. And Mount puts it on the floor, and Danielle Mount, the sophomore out of Crest Hill, Illinois, gets the point for Lewis. It's now 11-6.
The Norse want to slow Lewis down here. They, like you said, Bill, we don't want to end up going into this next set where 15 points determines the game.
Serving it up is Lauren Saliga for the Lewis Flyers. Spike by Nemchek, blocked, but out of bounds.
That one off a Hatter. Was unable to control that one.
Quite a crowd we have here at Regents Hall today. I see Dr. Proctor and Dr. Russell Proctor, the communication professor, here in the stands. Now that one just inside the line. Former President Leon Booth here. I see Bill Lamb, former dean here at NKU, all coming out to support the ladies.
And we saw earlier the students.
Oh yeah, quite a student turnout here today at Regents Hall. Very big day here for NKU with a chance to win the divisional title, or share of the divisional title, and then the basketball team tonight facing the Louisville Cardinals in the inaugural game at the Bank of Kentucky Center.
Yeah, that ought to be a very exciting matchup this evening. Sarah DeBurr Sends that one over.
Lauren Hatter, the libero for Lewis, will make the serve for the Flyers. Wearing the red jersey, but that one will go into the net.
Well, the Norse will take those points anytime they can get them.
You can say that again. Although we prefer to not have Lewis take the serve. That one into the ceiling, still in play. Here's Weesaw with a spike. Played by Rudy. Sent back over NKU side.
LC Weesaw.
Weesaw gets the point. NKU now closing the gap as it's only 13-10 the score. Rudy with a big left hand. Dug out by NKU. There's Rudy again with the set. Sent over, and NKU unable to play it there as Sarah DeBurr with yet another point.
Yeah, Lucas really saved that one when she, or rather, I'm sorry, Rudy saved that one for Lewis.
Lewis with another point there. Got their 5-point lead right back. 15-10 your score.
The momentum really in the favor of Lewis here. And NKU needs to try to slow that momentum down.
Rudy with the serve. There's Forbes saving it for Nemchek, but it goes out of bounds. (16-10) your score here in the fourth set. NKU up 2-1. Nemchek over to Forbes. Gets it to Clark, who sends it over. Hatter digs it out. There's Clark to Nemchek. Free ball for Lewis. There's Rudy. Over for Saget, who gets the spike and the score. And it is now a 7-point lead for the Flyers. Rudy once more with the serve.
Ace.
And an ace. Coach Chia very frustrated over there as he just shakes his head.
He never likes to see those aces. And that's the second one I think we've seen so far today by Lewis. Uncontested.
You're absolutely right. As a coach, you want your players to be aggressive, not to, let the game pass them by. And we've seen some other Cincinnati area sports teams exhibit that behavior recently. And,
Absolutely.
We don't want to see it here on NKU's campus.
No.
And you see Laura Lee Smith, the head coach of the Lewis Flyers. Win for her today would guarantee her the GLVC championship, as well as that #1 seed in the GLVC tournament.
Lewis University wants to bring this one to the 5th set, and we want to prevent that if you're on the Norse.
Well, they're only 7 points away from doing just that as they put it back in play. There's Weesaw with a spike down the line that connects with the Lewis player and goes out of bounds, so it will be 18-11. NKU trailing by 7. Peterson with the serve. Rudy over to Saget. There's Weesaw. Blocked, and they're going to call a lift on Lewis. So that'll be another point for NKU. It's now 18-12. NKU coming out of the timeout with 2 points, but Peterson, that's the second time she's put a serve into the net.
And nothing but net there.
Not what you want to hear on volleyball. There's Saget with the serve. Forbes over for Eisenmenger. Dug out by Lewis, but it sails right out of bounds.
Couldn't control that one.
When you talk about volleyball, I don't think a lot of people understand just how many attributes go into being a good volleyball player, strength among them, and seeing just the powerful spikes. And
we just saw one there.
20-13 your score now. Lewis still on top. Trying to tie things up here, 2 sets apiece. Ball played by Latzer.
And that's out.
That was out of bounds, but they're going to call a net violation on the Lewis Flyers.
Yeah, they sure are, and you can't have those kind of penalties, especially if you're Lewis trying to hang on here. You don't want to see that.
So NKU catching a break there, perhaps, as Megan Dooley will take the serve. See the big jump serve from Dooley. Dug out by Saget. Rudy over to Bagaman. There's Mount trying to put it down. That'll be 4 hits by NKU and a point for Lewis. They're now on top 21-14.
NKU facing a 7-point deficit here.
They need a big run to get back into this set. Bagaman will take the serve for Lewis. Lattenzer to Forbes. Eisenmenger with the spike, blocked at the net. Hatter to Rudy. Back to Bagaman. There's NKU. Eisenmenger off the fingers of Bagaman. And it'll go out of bounds. NKU back within 6. 21-15 the score.
Chelsea Clark.
She'll take the serve for Northern. Puts it into the net. Lewis now 3 points away from tying things up here at 2 sets apiece. There's Saliga with the serve. Clark keeps it in play.
Nice.
And Forbes tried to play it over the net, but sent it a little too far.
Good
Nice effort, though.
Absolutely. That was a deep ball and good effort.
There's Forbes. Over for Peterson, who finds the floor. And NKU hanging on here, 23-16 now your score.
NKU has had a little difficulty getting the ball over that net with those powerful hands of the first 3 players there for Lewis.
There's Nemchek with the serve. Over for Saget. And that one finds the hardwood on NKU's side. And we are now at set point. Lewis just 1 point away from tying things up here at 2 sets each. Hatter will serve it for Lewis. Dug out by Clark. Lucas sends it over the net. That one blocked, and NKU stays alive here in this 4th set.
Peterson blocking that one.
And now checking back into the game, Kelsey Weesaw. 2 touches called by the referee on Lewis, and so it will be another point for NKU.
And another mistake by Lewis. You don't want to see that.
They're going to call a timeout to sort of stave off any late run here by the Northern Kentucky side. There you see the NKU bench. It's Coach Chia trying to keep them focused here. There's not out of this set yet.
No, not yet, Bill. And hopefully the Norse will be able to hang on here and prevent Lewis from scoring. But obviously Lewis more likely than not to do so.
Well, fans, if you have enjoyed our coverage of NKU athletics this fall, tune back in the spring where we hope to bring you some NKU softball. We will not be televising any basketball games this season due to the new Bank of Kentucky Center. We haven't quite worked out all the bugs in the new place, so until we do, be sure to come down and see the game in person there at the brand new Bank of Kentucky Center, as well as all the other events. And you can check the schedule there on the website. And that's DeBurr with the spike, and that's set point. So we're tied 2 apiece. We'll be back for the 5th and final set right after this on Norse Media 18. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Farrow, joining you live from Regents Hall for today's GLVC matchup between NKU and Lewis. And I want to remind everyone that today's volleyball game is being brought to you by the efforts of students from Northern Kentucky University's Electronic Media and Broadcasting program. While studying at NKU, students can acquire actual hands-on experience during the production of live televised events, like the one you're watching now. To learn more about the Electronic Media and Broadcasting program and all of the great majors at NKU, visit the school's website at www.nku. And rejoining me, one of those fine students, Ray Kallmeyer. Ray, welcome back to the telecast.
It's good to be back.
And we have a tie match right now, 2 sets apiece. NKU taking sets 2 and 3. Lewis, though, tied things up there with a win in the 4th set, and we'll play to 15. The winner will be of this 5th set will take the match.
For NKU, they need to come out like they did in the 3rd set. Just the 2nd and 3rd set, and just keep control of the game the whole time.
Well, we get things sorted out here as Clark checking into the game for Eisenmenger. Okay, Gia perhaps looking for a little more defense out of the Norse here in the 5th set.
Serving the set 5 for Lewis, number 6, Hatter.
And just a reminder, this 5th set we played a 15. As Hatter with the serve. Hatter with a dig. Now as Rudy sets it up. That one will go off the hands of Forbes and out of bounds. NKU finding themselves down 1 in the early stages of this 5th set.
This is definitely in that boxing. That boxing match, this is the last round between the 2 heavyweights. Neither one budging, both worn out. Going down to the wire.
Peterson blocked at the net. Here's Forbes for Weesaw. Dug out by Hatter. Saget with the spike. Dug out by Nemchek. Clark sends it over. Rudy back to Saget with the tip and on the floor. 2-0 your score.
That was just out of the range of Forbes.
And a good play there by Lewis as they saw the defense coming and made it a last-second adjustment to get the point. Here's Hatter once again with the serve, but she'll send it out of bounds, and NKU breaks the scoreboard. It's now 2-1. Eisenmenger checking into the game for Clark. Peterson with the serve. Joust at the net, and NKU unable to handle it. Lewis up 3-1 now.
Point Lewis, Rudy to serve.
There's Saget with the spike. Off the fingers of the NKU defense and out of bounds. 4-1 the score. Rudy with the serve for Lewis. There's Forbes. Over for Eisenmenger. Dug out by Lewis. Nemchek unable to play it, and it goes out of bounds. Lewis now up 4, 5-1.
Lewis is definitely
Timeout NKU.
Lewis is definitely keeping that intensity they had in the 4th set and brought it back in the 5th.
And we're seeing NKU having some difficulty finding a successful strategy against this Lewis defense. They have blocked or dug out every attempt by NKU. And we see the result as Lewis up 5-1 here in this 5th and final set, already a third of the way to taking the final set and the match. Overall, in this match, there have been 19 tied scores and 7 lead changes. NKU hoping to get a lead change here in this 5th set. It's Eisenmenger with the spike, blocked at the net, but that one will get to the floor. 5-2 now the score.
That was a point much needed by the Norse.
Coming out of the timeout, they wanted to see them break that Lewis momentum, and they did so. Now Latenzer will take the serve for NKU. Rudy looking for Saget, and does so. She spikes and gets the kill. 6-2 your score now. NKU finding themselves down 4 here in the 5th set. Saget will serve for Lewis. She has been the big scorer for the Flyers so far. There's Weesaw, dug out by Rudy. Saget sends it over. Free ball for the Norse. There's Eisenmenger from the outside. Blocked by Rudy. Here's Weesaw. Over for Eisenmenger again. Dug out by Hatter. That ball's still in play. Free ball for the Norse. Eisenmenger. Back to Eisenmenger. Tap by NKU.
Really good rally.
Rudy, and that was Soliga blocked at the net by the NKU defenders. And a big rally won by the Norse, and that's something that can change the momentum. NKU, though, still down by 3, 6-3 your score. Dooley will serve it up for NKU. There's Rudy. Over for Bagaman. Nemchek with a big right hand. Boy, that was just a knockout punch there that gets the kill and the point. NKU now within 2, 6-4 the score.
You can see the momentum just shifting right into the Norse's hands.
The expression on Nemchek's face when she made that. Oh, what a dig that just barely gets over the net and finds an empty spot on the Lewis side. We are now within 1, 6-5 the score.
It's something how the momentum can just change on the drop of a dime.
Well, a big rally like we saw before, and now we are tied. 6-6 of an ace by Megan Dooley. Dooley with a chance to take the lead and does so with an ace. 7-6. NKU has come back from a 5-point deficit to take the lead 7-6.
Lewis really seems to be rattled right now.
And you hear the crowd coming to life here in Regents Hall. Hatter to Rudy. Blocked at the net by Nemchek. NKU is on fire here in the 5th set. And we have a timeout on the Lewis side. We will switch sides here in this 5th set, as is the custom. 8-6 your score. NKU on a big rally now. Taking a 2-point lead, just 7 points away from taking the 5th set. And a share of the GLVC Eastern Division title.
For NKU, you want to switch as fast as you can so you can get back to playing and keep that momentum going.
And here's Dooley with the serve. Dug out by Hatter. Over to Rudy. Here's Saget. Clark will send it over. Free ball for Lewis. Rudy. Over to Burr, who finds the floor. And it's now 8-7. 1-point lead now for NKU. Coming back from a 4-point deficit at one point. DeBurr will serve it for Lewis. That ball blocked, but out of bounds. NKU retakes a 2-point lead. 9-7 the score. Chelsea Clark, the libero for NKU, will take the serve. 9-7 the score. We played a 15 here in the 5th and final set. Here's Peterson. Tip, dug out by Lattinser, again by Lattinser. But unable to be played there by Nemchek. And Lewis now within 1, 9-8 the score. You hear the fans trying to get the momentum back on the NKU side. Bagaman will serve it for the Lewis Flyers. 9-8 the score. There's Latenzer. Over to Peterson, to Clark, sends it over, sent right back over by the Lewis side. Here's Peterson with the spike and the score. 10-8 the score now. NKU within 5 of taking the set and a share of the title. Here's Nemchek with the serve. Played by Lewis, and a spike finds its way to the floor on the NKU side. It's now 10-9. NKU still on top. Saligo will take the serve. There's Saliga. Dug out by Clark. And Lucas with the spike. NKU now on top, 11-9.
There's nobody in this arena right now that is not on the edge of their seat.
You can say that again as you hear the fans coming to life. This is the loudest I've ever heard it in here for volleyball. There's a spike, blocked at the net. Clark, over to Forbes. To Weesaw, blocked. Here's Weesaw again. Dug out by Hatter. Rudy sends it long and out of bounds. And boy, I tell you, I think Rudy went to the well one too many times. She's been doing that to us all night. And finally, it comes back to bite her as NKU now on top 3, 12-9.
It's a good play by Chelsea Clark there to just let that one go.
NKU 3 points away from taking this set. There you see the NKU side. Very much fired up, although you couldn't tell by the expression on Coach Chia's face as he maintains that very professional demeanor at all times there on the NKU bench. NKU up 12-9 here on the Lewis Flyers here in the 5th set. We played a 15. NKU wins this set. They get a share of the GLVC title, as well as a possible #1 ranking in the NCAA regional tournament. Here's Forbes, dug out by Hatter. Rudy, over to Mount. Kept in play by Forbes. Weesaw will send it over, free ball for Lewis. Here's Rudy. Saget, dug out by Clark. Here's Peterson. Dug out by Saliga. Saget. Peterson keeps it in play. Here's Weesaw. Off the hands of Hatter and out of bounds. NKU up now 13-9. Forbes with the serve. There's Rudy, over for Saget, tips it up, kept in play by Forbes. Weesaw with the spike, and it's on the floor. We are at match point here for NKU. Regents Hall is about ready to erupt as NKU 1 point away from taking the GLVC, a share of the GLVC title.
Everyone is standing.
Timeout called here as we are just 1 point away from an NKU victory. And boy, I tell you, when they were down early in this match, I didn't think they'd be able to come back, but since Coach Chia called that timeout, it has been all NKU since.
It's the NKU from the second and third set coming back, taking control of this match.
Match point here for NKU.
Serving it for the Norse, deserving it should be senior Natalie Forbes.
Natalie Forbes, everyone on their feet here in Regents Hall. Match point, Forbes with the serve. Dug out by Hatter. Rudy, over to Mount. Mount gets the point. 14-10 to score, still match point for NKU. And Coach Chia wants a timeout. I tell you, Ray, we talked about it earlier in the season that we wanted to see what would happen when Lewis came into this building, and we are seeing we could be on the verge of seeing a big upset here and a share of the division title brought home to NKU.
This is a really big match, even if you don't like volleyball. Can't turn away.
I think everybody here likes volleyball as you hear them chanting NKU, NKU. It'll be Hatter serving it for Lewis. Match point. NKU just needs one more point to take this match and a share of the GLVC title. The referee signals for the serve. Hatter lines up. Dug out by Clark. There's Weesaw, blocked at the net though. And Lewis stays alive, 14-11 your score. Everyone here on pins and needles as Hatter sets up for the serve. There's Forbes for Weesaw. That's it, it's down. Weesaw gets the point. NKU wins it 3-2, 15-11 here in the final set. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back with the wrap up right here on Norse Media 18. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're watching Norse Volleyball here on Norse Media 18. Joining me here today is Kim Nemchik, the sophomore out of Geneva, Illinois. Big win tonight for the Norse, that's the least you could say.
It was a huge win. We knew coming into this that we needed this win for conference, and when we went there, we just kind of let down on ourselves, and we knew in our home gym we had the intensity to bring it. So.
Then that fifth set, starting out, Lewis jumped out to a lead, and Coach Chia called a timeout. What was said in the huddle in that timeout?
We just knew we weren't playing our game. We weren't playing our potential. We knew we had to we kind of came out shaking, but then we came out and he just said, play NKU volleyball. Don't go down. Play how you guys play. We practiced really hard for Lewis, so.
Talk a little bit about the senior leadership on this team. They had the big celebration last night for Natalie, Christina, Katie, and Kelsey.
Yeah.
What do they bring to the table?
They are the most amazing seniors we could ever have. Kelsey came with me last semester and transferred here. She is a powerhouse. Natalie is the best setter I think I've ever had in my life. She knows where to put the ball, when to put the ball, who to put the ball to. Christina will put the ball down with any set she has. She puts down. And Latinder is a great server and a great passer. So they bring so much to the table.
And how about this crowd today for the NKU Norse?
It was amazing. It was amazing. We needed this crowd to get ourselves pumped up. So it was awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations on the share of the GLVC title.
Woohoo!
And potentially a #1 seed in the NCAA
Region.
region.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, well, that was Kim Nemchik, the sophomore middle hitter. We had a big game here today, and we will wrap things up here for NKU volleyball. NKU taking the match here tonight, 3-2, and a very exciting fifth set as NKU was able to find the willpower to break through that early lead by the Lewis Flyers and come back and really dominate the rest of the match in that fifth set. For Ray Kallmeyer and David Connor, I'm Bill Farrow, thanking everyone for tuning in today. Hope to see you tonight at the basketball game in the Bank of Kentucky Center. Until then, have a good day.